which is crazy. I got my South African socks on, ready to go. Basically, for our family, one of our teams is going to win. So like it's like kind of sweet. It's like one of our teams is going on to the round of 16. So I know it's a win-lose situation, but I'm like, I want both teams to win. I think if I'm being real honest, I probably am for the underdog, which is South Africa. I want to see them win more than Canada. I know that's going to offend a lot of people here, but look, when you got two South Africans in your family, you got to also cheer for them, right? So that's super exciting. And so with that, the plan, if you don't have plans to watch the game, we just got word this morning that we have access to the underground at the Broadway Collective. So we are going to be there. Hopefully by 1 o'clock, someone will be there. Obviously, we have our barbecue after church, so we got to clean up all the barbecue stuff and hopefully get there in time. That will be the goal, is to get there for 1 o'clock to watch the game. So if you don't have plans and you want to come watch the game, and if you don't even like soccer, but you just want to come socialize, there's an option for you, okay? So 1 o'clock at the Broadway Collective, which is 733 Broadway. If you've never been there, it's right beside Junior Cafe. Go underground at 1 o'clock today. Someone will be there to get the game on, and we'll join as fast as we can. So you're all invited to come watch it with us. So I thought this morning with our barbecue, we're trying to keep this service a little bit shorter, and we've been in the life of David. Sorry, I had one more announcement. I forgot about my other announcement. This is like a little side note. So this summer, things slow down a little bit at church, and I've realized that we in our culture, I think it's funny, I had a meeting this week with another pastor, and he was saying, he's like, I met him at his church building, and he's like, I'm like, how often do you work here? And he's like, never. He's like, 1 day a week. He's like, Greg, people don't come to church anymore. Like, they don't come during the week to meet with the pastor. Like, he's like, no one wants to come and talk to me anymore. I'm like, I get it, dude. I understand, right? And it's been interesting because lately I've had a few opportunities with people here in our church who were kind of in different settings, not because there was a meeting set up, but I was with them, and then they would ask me these questions, and I'm like, man, you could have came to me with this question a long time ago. Like, just email me and be like, hey, Pastor Greg, can I meet up? And I want to have a question for you. And so I'm going to make it really easy on you guys. This summer, what we're doing is I've put together a Calendly event thing where you can sign up to go for walks with Pastor Greg, okay? I know, it's crazy. So there's a QR code. All summer, it's going to be on Mondays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. If you want, you can sign up to go for a walk with me, okay? And I will come with some questions if you want, but if you just want to come with your own things, we can do that too, okay? This is an opportunity. One, selfishly, I just want to go for walks and lose some weight, so you're going to help me do that, okay? Secondly, it's just an opportunity for us to just go for a walk and hang out and talk. So now, this is don't go there yet, just wait. As staff, I brought this to the staff, and as staff meetings often go, I was like, guys, we should come up with an idea of what we should call this. So we came up with an idea. We put it into ChatGPT. I want to share some of this with you because they're awesome. We put it into ChatGPT. We're like, what should we call this? Here's some of what ChatGPT gave us: Greg's Good Walk, Stride Side with Greg, The Greg Trek, Walking by Faith with Greg, Sneakers and Sermons, that was a good one, Sneakers and Sermons, Soul Steps, The Blessed Trek, okay? But we took it a step further as a staff, as I put my picture into ChatGPT, and I said, hey, do a picture of me, inviting people to come for a walk with me, and this is what ChatGPT gave. This is... We wanted to put that on the app. It's like come for a walk with Pastor Greg. Oh man, that's so good. I love ChatGPT. It's the best. Okay, so this is my invitation to you. I am inviting you, okay? I like one-on-one conversations with people, okay? I like when people are wrestling through things to actually have a chance to speak into them, to, let's just get biblical here, shepherd people, okay? That's the role of the pastor, okay? So this summer, there's opportunities for you to go for a walk with Pastor Greg. Scan this QR code, sign up, it'll be awesome. They're in 1 hour time slots. We don't have to take the whole hour. If you feel like you can't walk, you don't even have to walk. We can sit at a coffee shop too, but it's just there so that you guys have that opportunity, making myself available. All right. we are going to get in today's sermon, and as I was saying, we've been going through the life of David, and this morning, instead of going through a story of David's life, I wanted to go to one of David's Psalms, and one of my favorite Psalms, and I wasn't here last week for Father's Day, but this is actually my dad's favorite Psalm. It was the Psalm that was read at his funeral. It's Psalm 23. And I want to just take this morning, and I want to actually dive into this Psalm, because in this Psalm, whether we realize it or not, David, who was a shepherd, David who understood the heart of the shepherd, David also knew that he was not the good shepherd. And as he writes Psalm 23, he actually points towards the good shepherd in Jesus. And so what I want to do this morning is we're going to unpack Psalm 23 and understand how the whole psalm points to Jesus. Now, to get started, hopefully this is going to work. I asked Benga to pull up a video. I need you guys to see one of the influencers that I follow on Instagram came out with this incredible video the other day that spoke so well to Psalm 23. Is it going to work? One of my favorite influencers I follow on Instagram.
Still waters.
Oh,
that's refreshment.
The audio is working.
Restores my soul. That's healing.
Is the video going to... It's coming. It's coming. Nice. Here she is. I just want you to listen to her unpack Psalm 23. Oh, we got to sign up.
That's a relationship. I shall not want. That's supply. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. That's rest. He leadeth me beside the still waters. That's refreshment. He restoreth my soul. That's healing. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. That's guidance. For his name's sake. That's purpose. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That's testing. I will fear no evil. That's protection. For thou art with me. That's faithfulness. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. That's discipline. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. That's hope. Thou anointest my head with oil. That's consecration. My cup runneth over. That's abundance. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. That's a blessing. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord. That's security. Forever. That's eternity. Face it. God loves you. What's the most valuable is not what we have in our lives, but who we have in our lives. It's not what we have in our lives. It is who we have in our lives. Remember that.
I love it. I love it. She just broke down Psalm 23 in an absolutely incredible way. Just last night, it was funny. We were we were watching with the kids the new movie Sheep Detectives. Anyone seen that yet on Prime? Okay. There's this amazing scene where they're walking past the church, the two sheep, and they talk in the movie. And they're walking past the church, and the one sheep's like, "What's that?" He's like, "That's the church." They're like, "Well, what is it?" He's like, "It's where they worship God." And he's like, "Well, who's God?" And the other sheep's like, "Well, he's a shepherd, but he's also a lamb, and he's also bread, and you eat him every week. And he also dams things," which I think makes him a beaver. And I was like, I laughed so hard at that line. I don't know why I thought that was so funny. I was like, he dams things? That means he's a beaver? I'm like, that's hilarious, okay? So I watched that last night. I thought it was so funny. This understanding of God being our shepherd. And Chantal, she didn't know that I was preaching on this morning. Her little intro there, like walking onto the field with God, like that's the imagery. Like the imagery is that we have a God that loves us so much, he wants to guide us in this life. We have a God that loves us so much, he wants to protect us and to lead us to green pastures and to lead us to still waters and to be with us in the valley of death and to anoint our heads with oil, that there be abundance in our life. And so all I want to do this morning is I want to just take a look at Psalm 23, and we're going to go through this because one of the things I find fascinating is this is one chapter of this book. And my hope is that you can see how the Bible is never boring. And the Bible is so exhaustive in what we can get out of it, right? To me, honestly, as I was preparing this sermon, I'm like, man, I could spend the next 5 months of my life just going through this every day, just contemplating this reality every day. So, Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. That is a proclamation of relationship. That is a declaration of saying, I understand who I am, and I understand whom I am, whose I am. Is that the word I'm looking for? Right? I understand who my shepherd is, who I'm following, who's the one guiding my life. There's relationship there. The Lord is my shepherd. So Jesus comes along. What does he say in John 10:11? He says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. David pointing to Jesus. David making the statement, the Lord is my shepherd, relationship. He says, I shall not want. That's contentment. What does Jesus say in John 6:35? He says, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger, and whoever believes in me will never thirst. Man. Psalm 23 says he makes me lie down in green pastures, which is rest. Matthew 11, 28, 29. You guys know this because I preach it all the time. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden. Take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And it ends the verse with, and I will give you rest. Man, the Lord is my shepherd, relationship. I shall not want, contentment. He makes me lie down in green pastures, rest. I find that one interesting. That the shepherd knows his sheep so well that it says he makes us lie down. Not he gives opportunity. Not he gives options. No, he knows it's important for you that I'm going to make you. I'm going to put in your life opportunity and kind of force you into seasons of rest, moments of rest. Jesus is our great rest. He leads me beside still waters, refreshment. John 7:37, 38 says, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. Have you ever thought about the refreshment of your soul? About your relationship with Jesus being the refreshment? Being the thing that brings life into you? Being the thing that brings energy and joy and purpose? It goes on, it says, he restores my soul, which is healing. Luke 4:18, Jesus said, he has sent me to proclaim liberty, recovery of sight, to set at liberty those who are oppressed. And Isaiah says, by his stripes we are healed. Man, he came to bring healing. He leads me in paths of righteousness. This is guidance. John 14:6, Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Man, this is what guidance looks like with Jesus. For his name's sake, this is purpose. John 15:16 says what? I choose you, that you should go and bear fruit. Do you understand your purpose? Do you understand what you've been called to? Do you understand if he is your great shepherd, he will lead you in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake? The purpose is him. He's the one. He's the one who chooses you. He's the one who calls you to go and bear fruit in his name with his purpose. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, this is testing. John 16:33 says, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. I love this. Look, again, we if we want to get into deep theology, because people will be like, well, God never causes temptation, and that's true. But God does test. And I think that one of the greatest stories of God's testing is actually Jesus on the boat with the storm, right? That was not a temptation, it was a test. And it wasn't even just for Jesus, it was for his disciples. How were they going to respond to that moment? See, God puts us in environments. He puts us in seasons. He puts us in circumstances that are hard. Why? Because he loves us. Why? Because of Romans 5:4. Suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope. That you actually can't have hope without suffering. I know, it's crazy, right? That even though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will walk through many valleys in this life. God will actually lead you into the valleys. I've said this many times. In my life, following Jesus had led me into more valleys than mountaintops. It's led me into more seasons of testing and God saying, man, I love you, but I'm going to build this into you. I'm going to lead you through suffering. I'm going to lead you through pain. I'm going to lead you through brokenness because I know what you need. And I know what I'm doing in your life. And I'm with you even in the valley of the shadow of death where there is testing. It says, I will fear no evil. It's protection. John 10, 28, 29 says, no one will snatch them out of my hand. Talking about his sheep, talking about his people, talking about his children. No one will snatch them out of my hand. I will fear no evil. It says, for you are with me. That's God's faithfulness. He is always with you. Matthew 28, 20, it says, surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Man, what a proclamation. Again, I say this because it's like, man, imagine praying through this on a daily basis. Coming to these words, God, you are with me. You are faithful. You stand by me. You lead me. You guide me. That you are with me always. It says your rod and your staff, they comfort me. It's discipline. John 15:2, Jesus said, every branch that bears fruit, he prunes that they may bear more fruit. There's moments where God disciplines us. Not in anger, not in frustration. Again, that we would grow. He cuts off the old. He prunes what is no longer important to steal and rob the nutrients needed to bear fruit. It was interesting because we were having this conversation as staff. Man, it is so hot in here. This is crazy. I've told people, like, I got to bring a change of clothes, and I feel like I got to bring a towel up here. I just, like, feel gross right now. Okay, our staff was talking about this. We're talking about, you know, like, the rod and the staff of the shepherd, like, would they hit the sheep? And I actually I started to do a little bit of research. I'm like, what was the rod and the staff? And again, the staff, you know, long stick with a curved end was meant to guide the sheep. It was not meant to hit the sheep. But the rod, the rod is, like, feels aggressive, right? And I was looking it up, and they said that what a shepherd would use the rod for is he would actually use it to startle the sheep when they were going the wrong direction. He would throw the rod to startle them, to get them back going the right way. That was the rod. The rod wasn't used to beat the sheep. The rod was used to startle them, to get them back on track. See, sometimes God has to startle us. Sometimes God has to get us out of our comfort zone. Sometimes God has to get our attention, speak to our heart. Say you're a little off course. I need to get you back on course. I need to get you back into the green pastures. I need to get you back with the flock. I need to get you back to where there's sustenance. That's the rod. That's the discipline of God, is he reveals to us where we're going off course. Where there's danger, where there's unprotection, those realities, okay? It says, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Said that's hope. Hope. Luke 22:29, Jesus says this, I confer on you a kingdom that you may eat and drink at my table. Even on the night that Jesus was betrayed, what did he do? He prepared a table. Who was sitting at that table? Judas. In the presence of my enemies, you prepare a table. Why that is hopeful is because we know that in this life there are spiritual forces of evil at play. And even in in that reality, God's like, I'm going to prepare a table for you. I'm going to prepare a place. I'm going to prepare a home. I'm going to prepare a stability in which you can sit at, in which you can be known, in which you can feed, in which you can have purpose. It's our hope. It says, you anoint my head with oil. This is consecration, or what I call holiness. John 17, Jesus says, sanctify them in the truth. For their sake, I sanctify myself. My cup overflows. This is abundance. John 10:10. I came that they might have life and have it abundantly. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. This is blessing. John 1:16. From his fullness we have all received grace upon grace. I will dwell in the house of the Lord, which is security. John 14, Jesus says, in my Father's house are many rooms, and I will come again and take you to myself. And then it says forever, this is eternity. John 11:25-26, I'm the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me shall never die. Psalm 23 is prophetically written by David, that every single line points to Jesus. How incredible is this? Like, how incredible is this? Jesus says, I am the great shepherd. I am the good shepherd. The shepherd that has come to lead God's people. And prophetically, David writes this Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me by still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. That psalm is packed with so much biblical prophecy towards Jesus. It is packed with so much understanding of who we are, which is why that first line is so important. The first line, the Lord is my shepherd. To proclaim that. But I oftentimes, when I preach these kind of messages, I feel like sometimes, oh, wow, I looked at the clock. Okay, I'm going to say this really quickly, okay? Because we got to get to eating time. The good shepherd, not me, this is Jesus. I was like, who wants to feed us? That sounded really bad. Got to eat. I want to say it like this. Is Jesus leads his people to freedom. That is the whole intent of having a shepherd, is the shepherd is there to protect the sheep so that they don't have to worry. They are free to just be sheep. They are free to enjoy the goodness of God, knowing that it's the shepherd who protects. It's the shepherd who guides. It's the shepherd who keeps them on track, that they can be free. They can be free, knowing and trusting that there's one who is watching over them, which means that you were created for freedom. And the enemy's tactic in this life is to actually get you to live behind walls. He doesn't want you to be free. He wants you to be hemmed in. He wants you to lack freedom. He wants you to be confined in the space that he sets out for you. And I say this because back in Psalm 18, David said this line, which I think is so cool. Eugene Peterson wrote a whole book on this concept. He says, David writes this, he says, you, Lord, keep my lamp burning. My God turns my darkness into light. With your help, I can advance against a troop. With my God, I can leap over a wall. I love that line. With my God, I can leap over a wall. You see, and if you weren't counting, there were 16 of these statements that come out of Psalm 23. There's 16. There's the relationship, the contentment, the rest, refreshment, healing, guidance, purpose, testing, all these things. But the reality is that the enemy wants to put a wall in front of you from the freedom in which God is leading you into. See, every promise of Psalm 23 has a wall standing in front of it that we have to, at some point in our lives, leap over with the strength of God. See, relationship has the wall of sin and separation. Rest has the wall of hurry. Healing has the wall of hurt. Guidance has the wall of confusion. Hope has the wall of despair. Abundance has the wall of scarcity. Security has the wall of fear. Eternity has the wall of death. For every single one of these, there's a wall that the enemy wants to put in front of you to hem you in, to reduce your freedom. But you were created to be free. Which means we got to learn how to leap over some walls. That means we got to trust that God has given us the strength to leap over those walls that stand in front of us. The walls of sin and hurry and hurt and confusion and despair. The wall of scarcity. Man, the wall of fear. The reality is, I think as I read these, I realize in my own life, how many walls I still have to leap over. How many walls I still feel like I come crashing into, sometimes on a daily basis. How many walls I feel sometimes hemmed in by. And I cry out to God, why do I feel like I keep hitting my head against these walls? Why do I keep feeling like I lack the freedom? Why do I keep feeling like I don't sense the joy and the peace and the gentleness and the kindness and the self-control that is promised as the fruit of the Spirit? But I feel like it's because I keep trying to run through the wall. I keep trying to do it by myself, in my own way. And so I'll map out my life and I'll set my calendar. I'll try to do it on my own strength. And I believe what David is writing in their Psalms is it's not about what you can do. It's what God will empower you to do. It's what the Holy Spirit will put in you. It's how the Holy Spirit will guide you. Yes, there are walls, but He gives you the strength to leap over them. That's the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd leads us to freedom. He leads us to purpose. He leads us to hope. But we have to be able to stand on, and I'm going to come back to it. We got to stand on the opening line of that psalm. The Lord is my shepherd. The question is, can you trust Him? Will you trust Him? Will you trust that He will lead you? Will you trust that He will protect you? Will you trust that He will anoint you in a place that your cup will overflow? Listen, I wasn't joking when I was like, I'm like, that lady, I've realized in my life, like, the only people I want to be influenced by are people who have way more life experience than me. Like, I'm so done being enthralled with the, like, celebrity pastors and guys up, I'm so done with that. I want the 90-year-old lady in her sofa talking about Psalm 23. I'm like, that's who I want to be influenced by. Because I realize it's like, man, it's those who have been shepherded their whole life that I've realized understand what true freedom looks like. It's those that I think are on the other side of trying to prove their worth and trying to prove their legacy and trying to prove their security and trying to prove all the things. All the walls that I'm going to say it, like, hem us young people in, right? All these things, trying to figure out our purpose and our meaning and our significance and God's like, man, if you would just learn to trust me, like, if you would just learn to actually be shepherded by me, like, that my rod and staff would actually guide you, that, like, when you're in the valleys that I'm with you, that you don't have to fear evil because I'm with you, and that testing is going to produce in you a perseverance, a character, and a hope. If you could just trust in that statement, the Lord is my shepherd, man, I'll lead you to freedom. And I don't know if you guys want freedom or not. I do. Man, I want freedom. I want freedom from trying to figure it out on my own. I want freedom from my own selfishness. I want freedom from my own understanding. I want a God who will make me rest in green pastures. Man, I want a God who will lead me beside still waters. I want a God that knows how to refresh my soul. I felt like this morning I wanted to preach this message because I feel like this is kind of our kickoff into summer, right? I don't know about you guys, summer vacation started on Thursday for most of us who have kids, right? It's officially no more school. And it's funny because someone was asking me are you trying to get all your projects done before the school year ends? And I'm like, no, I'm waiting for the school year ends so I can start all the projects that I've been waiting to get to. I'm like, this whole taking your kids to school thing really throws off my schedule. I don't love it. Like, I just want them to be home with me all the time, you know? But I realized I'm like stepping into summer. I was like, man, Lord, I want to learn how to be a sheep. Like, sounds really funny. Like, I want to learn how to be a sheep. Like, I want to learn how to just be guided by you. I want to learn that I don't have to find the green pastures by myself anymore. I want to learn that I don't have to find the still waters by myself anymore. God, I want to learn that I'm not walking through the valley of the shadow of death by myself anymore. I want to trust in your faithfulness in this season. And that's why I'm like, for me, I'm like, again, I just often preach what the Lord is speaking to me, and I feel like the Lord is speaking to me and just saying, Greg, if you would just pray Psalm 23. Man, just make that your daily discipline of just praying through Psalm 23. It's like, I'll be your shepherd. Like, I'll guide you. I'll lead you. I'll teach you. And so for me, I'm like, Lord, I want to know true freedom in this season. And I'll prophetically declare this for myself. You don't have to engage in this if you want. But I'm going to say for myself, this is a summer of freedom. It's a summer of freedom. It's a summer of truly understanding the freedom that God has given us to trust, to lean, to know the good shepherd in Jesus. So you just stand to your feet right now. We're not going to go into another worship song. Sorry, I went over time. That was my fault. I'm not going to have you guys come up to the front today. I just want you to take a moment. And I'm going to ask you to close your eyes and bow your heads. This is just a moment between you and God. And what I'm going to do actually this morning is I'm going to lead a prayer. And if you're okay praying with me, I'm just going to ask you to repeat after me. And we're just going to say a simple prayer, inviting the Lord to be our shepherd. Inviting the Lord to lead us into true freedom in Christ. That Jesus' words of being our good shepherd. And I always define that word good. It's purposeful and it's with purpose and full. That's what good is. He has a purposeful life for you, a full life for you, full of love and hope and beauty. That's what the good shepherd is. So if you're comfortable this morning, would you just pray with me? We say, Lord, you are our shepherd. Teach us to run with you. Teach us to leap over walls. Walls of fear. Walls of hurt. Walls of despair. Jesus, be our hope. We trust you. We love you. Amen. Man, he's a good shepherd. He's a good shepherd. May this summer be a summer of being guided into the freedom that Christ has for you. Green pastures, still waters, valleys of death that he is with you in. I know that doesn't sound too much fun. Trust me. There's some fun in valleys, okay? Where is my wife? She's got some announcements for us before we dismiss for, I don't know. I'll just do them if I remember them. If they come up on the screen, she's probably talking to someone. Do you have them on the screen, Banga? Because I think there they are. Nice. Oh, JC's going to come up in a second. Next steps, Pastor Steve will be back in the corner. If you are here and you are just trying to understand and discover what does it look like to follow Jesus, if you want to know the next steps in being a sheep and trusting in the shepherd, we've got an incredible book back there. It's a 21-day devotional that's going to walk you through some of the understandings, the core disciplines of what it looks like to follow Jesus. We got our C3 merch available out there for purchase. That's all on the hangers on the right side. There's hoodies and shirts. We've got our barbecue after service. That's this week.